Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is a man who's our new Doug, Mr. Drew Celestino.
Oh, same as the old Doug. Well, no, I'm a little different than the old Doug.
You're alive.
Yes, I am. Which, it's pretty good to be that.
Yes.
Given the week that was.
Yeah, here we are, once again, kind of off our normal schedule for unfortunate reasons this time, but I'm sure we'll get into that. It's Monday night. We are recording. We usually record on Tuesday nights because we want to give you guys the most up-to-date show possible. But our news section has not suffered at all because of things happening and somewhat. But before we get there, let us stand on ceremony. Opening statements, sir. I think I already kind of know the answer to this. How was your week?
Well, let's start removed from me for a moment. Another Devil's Due podcast, Carl. Another senseless American shooting.
Yeah.
Yay, America. We America so hard in America. Was it 30 people? 27 people?
26.
26 people.
Plus.
That's wonderful. That's just wonderful.
Plus everyone who was injured in addition. Of course, it feels shallow to say thoughts and prayers, but you being a kind man and me being a man of faith, it's what we got for you right now. And there's just a lot of stuff going on this weekend, like within the Devil's Due family, from outside the Devil's Due family, that shooting. Before we get into our weeks, I also want to send out our deepest, kindest thoughts and prayers to the Marin family in Staten Island. Manny has written in numerous times to the show. He's an avid listener of the show. Earlier in the week, Manny's wife, Vicky's mother, suffered a stroke, and the outlook from the updates I've been getting is deteriorating.
That is not good. I'm
so
sorry about that.
Manny and Vicky and Natalie are definitely in our thoughts. So
once again, we've said everything we need to say about shootings in America.
Yep. Gotta have your guns.
You know what's going to happen? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing will be done. And, they'll find out, he was deeply disturbed and it's a mental health issue, really. And they won't label it terrorism, even though, we all know why they won't do that. Let's be real here. Skin's the wrong color to be a terrorist. Am I right? That's
It's
right.
in Texas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but it's all been... We say it, and we do nothing.
Yep.
It's another day.
Got to protect that NRA.
Yeah, because, anyway, I don't want to dwell too deeply on that. So, So the week, unfortunately, as I mentioned last week on the show, my grandmother was in hospice, and as of Friday evening, she has passed away. So
sorry, man.
It's thank you. It's not obviously it sucks, frankly. Yeah. But over the course of 9 days in hospice, watching her kind of just physically deteriorate, while I believe still mentally aware.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of there's a certain relief to it all, because it's really cruel and unfair to kind of see someone in that state. And
it's
just the nature of life, though, man. It's going to happen to everybody at some point, and it's unfortunate. So, when the time comes, just
it takes a real special person to be able to work at hospice. I've had some encounters with them in my days, and they've always been fantastic. But yeah, it sucks when, it comes to its natural end, and the person's not there anymore, and you kind of want them there.
Sure. I mean, like I said, my grandma, basically raised me, so, things are going to change a lot around my family, for sure. With the house and, that being a central hub for the family in a way for so many years.
Yeah.
And, her being the kind of the matriarch of the whole side of my family over there. Hopefully we can stick together and things don't change too much, but you never know what's going to happen. So we'll see. But for now, we're all dealing, and services are tomorrow and Wednesday. So I'll be doing that stuff. And fortunately, I do get those days off from work, so I don't have to worry about burning time because I'm going on my big trip coming up. And there's just all kinds of stress happening right now because I'm not prepared to go on this trip just yet. And I have to get there, and I have to deal with, Grandma's passing and just lots of stuff happening right now. So anyway, not too much else of note for the weekend per se. We saw Thor, obviously, which we're going to talk about at length. And the weekend's kind of foggy after Friday, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I did go to Jay Gelsomino's house, and we did watch a New Japan event.
Cool.
And oh my,
there's some New Japan relevant news this weekend.
It's pretty mind-bending, actually. So, Wrestle Kingdom...
Mind-bending is in Dr. Mindbender?
No.
Suspenders and no shirt. That's the style I'm backing.
With a cape. And a monocle.
With a cape and no sleeves.
To be fair, you kind of got a Mindbender mustache going on right now. So it's pretty wonderful. I'm just going to put that out there. So, where was I going? Oh, New Japan. Okay. So, we are leading up now. It's November now, so
yes.
The Wrestle Kingdom will be here in 2 short months. Wrestle Kingdom is New Japan's WrestleMania, for those of you who don't know, and it's where all the big stuff happens. It is the biggest show of the year by far, and it is it's always great. But now the card is starting to solidify. And the big question was, who will Kenny Omega face at Wrestle Kingdom? And for a while, everyone seemed to think that he was going to go against his former tag team partner from years ago, now returned to New Japan, Kota Ibushi. And that would be amazing because they are both premier wrestlers. And there's a built-in story, the fact that they were once a tag team and split apart, and now Kenny has risen to prominence in New Japan while Kota has been away doing Kota Ibushi things because he's weird. Okay. But now he's back. But that's not the match we are getting because no. After Kenny won his match, the lights go out, and who should appear on the big screen but, by God, Chris Jericho.
Of WWE and WCW fame.
And he was
Fozzy fame.
He was also in Japan many, many, many years ago as well, when he guys first started his career. But most notably, yes, WWE's Chris Jericho.
And Fozzy's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, no one cares about Fozzy. Anyway, okay, lot to unpack here. So he challenges Kenny Omega for the United States Championship at Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay.
What? Okay. That's big. It's very big because Chris Jericho has been a notorious, I don't want to use the word stooge, but I will, for WWE for a long time now. Okay. As in he puts them over constantly and he's a company guy. Let's put it that way. But he only recently signs on for short shifts, so few month contract whenever he has time off. He doesn't sign multi-year deals or anything like that anymore. He just comes on for a little run, then he goes away again when his contract expires. He's not under contract right now, and he is in a unique position where he is a very valid global draw. Chris Jericho is a global guy. He's he's iconic. Mm-hmm. And this also... Oh, absolutely. Unquestionably. He's not in yet, but come on. I mean,
okay,
he's Chris Jericho. So he's a draw. He doesn't need WWE anymore, and WWE hates guys like that. They hate when they don't need.
Yeah.
They hate when guys don't need them anymore. Chris Jericho does not need them anymore, and he's in a unique position where he can use that drawing power to put eyes on New Japan, who is in an expansion phase right now as a company. They want more global eyes on their product. Chris Jericho's coming in to face Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. That's going to put more eyes on the product in a big way.
So now, leading into this, did you know this was going to happen?
Nope.
So
well, hang on. It was spoiled for me on Sunday morning, unfortunately.
Oh.
So I went on the internet. Well, no, Jay actually sent out a message to everybody saying there's apparently a mega spoiler going on right now with tonight's show. Don't go on the internet today, or just watch out for it. I don't know what it is yet. No, he did know. Jay knew, I think. It's like just watch out if you don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah.
And I wrote back, okay, avoiding the internet. Not 5 seconds later, I was scrolling through my Facebook feed, which is, I mean, you got to do that, but normally wrestling stuff doesn't really come up on my Facebook feed. Boop, there it was, right there. Like, no!
Yeah.
But, to be fair, I was spoiled. I can only imagine my reaction had I not been spoiled. But it's the kind of spoiler where it's like, I'm not disappointed. It was more like, wait, what? That's going to happen? So it was kind of fun. So, yeah, it's pretty wild, man, because, again, Chris Jericho is he's a big figure, and it's more eyes on New Japan's product at the biggest show of the year. Very exciting. Very exciting. I think, anyway, personally. I think it's kind of a big deal. So, yeah, that was
now the question is for the match, because the style of match that WWE puts on is vastly different.
Sure is.
Than the style of match that NJPW puts on.
So will Jericho be able to keep up?
Even in my, uneducated eyes, vastly inferior match that NJPW puts on. Does Kenny lower his performance to match with Jericho, or is Jericho going to have to step up?
Jericho's going to have to step up. And I think he can, and I think he will.
Okay. I mean, Jericho is also a lot older, too.
48, 47, 48 years old.
Okay.
But the guy, he can still put in the work. It's not about age. I mean, Minoru Suzuki is 48 as well. And he's amazing. I love that guy. So if you can put the work in, it's going to be fine. And I think between the two of them, they will put the work in, and it's going to be great. I have faith. It might not be, Kenny Okada level, but it will be a great bout. I'm pretty confident in saying that. And they also announced that they're, after Wrestle Kingdom's in January, come late March, they're coming back to Long Beach. So they're doing the special again in California. So the U.S. expansion is on.
Nice.
It is. They're committed to it, and they booked a larger venue than they did last time for their little testing the water show over the summer. Pretty fun, pretty exciting times to see what's going to happen. I can't imagine Vince McMahon is very happy about any of this, to be honest with you. Now I don't really care because I don't care what WWE does anymore, but I do care about the health of wrestling, and Vince is very spiteful and petty, so I do kind of worry any potential competition that might be coming. I just have this sinking feeling like there's going to be retaliation for this sort of thing. Like Chris Jericho doing a show with another company. I know he's not under contract, so hey, business is business.
So
I'm not under contract.
WWE's not going to be eager to bring him back on first end?
Whether they do or not, I don't know, but they definitely know. They're aware. Okay, it's not like this isn't just going to fly under the radar. He's not doing some indie date. He's showing up at NJPW's biggest show of the year.
Yep.
It's something. It's pretty big. So we'll see how that shakes out. They're very vindictive and petty, so I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to undermine the events somehow. I don't know how exactly, but they'll find a way to try and poo-poo it or take heat away from it. I don't know how, but it's what they do. It's what they do. Yeah, I don't care. It's going to be fun. So, after all that, I read some comics this week, too. We can, get into that maybe later. Which is, I'm slowing down on my comic reading, so I made it an effort to pick up a little this week. So, crushed about 6 or 8 books this week. So, I'm happy with that. That's it. That's what's going on.
I crushed 6 or 8 books in a sitting.
I used to do that. I can't do it anymore. So, yeah, that's what's up. How are you?
I mean, in comparison, good. Obviously, let's see, we recorded. Did we record Tuesday night last week?
We did.
Yes.
We sound so confident. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. No, because Tuesday night was Halloween.
That's right. It was
We
Halloween.
recorded Friday when we knocked out. We recorded Friday night when we knocked out the 2 episodes.
That's
the bank episode and then the Crow retrospective.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Now it's coming back to me now. Okay. It's been a long week.
So Halloween, great this year. Had a ton of kids at the house. Julie actually had to go out and get more candy.
That's amazing considering you said last year like no one came.
Yeah. I had over 30 kids this year at the house. So
that's A-okay.
Consider that's the biggest year we've had since we've been there. So I was in my glory. I stepped at one point because Julie had taken William in his costume to see the grandmothers, and so I was at home handing out candy. At one point, I just kind of stepped outside and just kind of listened, and just the sounds of Halloween, kids running up and down the street, shouting trick or treat. The rustling of leaves under feet, things like that. I'm making a lot of rhymes here. It's not intentional. But it's worth a mentional.
Boo.
Yeah. But no, it was great. It was so great. And I think it was kind of jump-started by our neighbors across the street. Just have massive, massive Halloween decorations. And it was kind of looked like I appreciate the effort they put in, but they need kind of like a guiding vision to what they're doing, because they're just getting anything and throwing it out there. There was well over probably $2,000 worth of decorations.
Wow.
On the front lawn.
Oh my God.
Like
so
Home
it's
Depot,
like a Halloween house of shame?
Home Depot was selling Tyrannosaurus Rex skeletons and like horse skeletons and things like that.
Wow.
And they had those out there, just crazy stuff. But it apparently got kids going in the neighborhood, so I'm reinvigorated for next year. I didn't get to get our decorations out. This is like third year in a row I haven't gotten our decorations out. But definitely going to make a point to do that next year. So that was Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, not much. Thursday was X-Wing night. Broke the streak. Good night for X-Wing.
Attaboy.
Broke the streak. 2 big league wins. And just had a lot of fun. Felt really good about X-Wing. Friday night, we saw Thor. Should we talk about the fiasco of seeing Thor? Or should we wait till we get to the actual review?
We'll wait.
Yeah, okay.
We'll wait. We'll set it all up.
So we saw Thor. Then we went and had meals at Bar Louie. Sure, all right. It was decent.
It's okay. I mean, it's there,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Saturday, Julie went with her sister and her mother to look at some wedding reception venues for our niece who was engaged. And so I was with William most of the day, and then Sunday I got to play a little more X-Wing, some casual games, which was fun. And that was about it.
All right.
So here we are, Monday night.
I have been also watching Stranger Things, by the way.
We've been watching Stranger Things too. We've gotten to...
I'm through 7 episodes.
Yep, we've gotten to episode 4. We haven't started it yet, but we've gotten there.
Pretty
it's actually
good.
Something I'm kind of going to address later on towards the end of the show.
Okay.
Dear listeners, if you'd like to tell us about your week, send us some questions or comments to be read on the show. We definitely appreciate it. You can find us at the following social media locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, that being said, got some questions.
Okay.
Now we have questions from Alan, who sent in questions for the bank show we were recording Friday night.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
That Alan was supposed to be at. So he sent us in questions when he realized he wasn't going to be there.
Well,
now,
how do we handle this then?
I'm tempted to ground Alan from the show.
Wow.
Because he said he was going to be here and he ditched us. But that would be petty, considering other things that we're going to... Oh, not running down a dream anymore.
No.
Considering other things we're going to discuss later in the show. So we will read Alan's questions.
Fair enough.
Okay. Carl and Drew.
Hi.
What was your favorite Halloween costume when you were kids?
Ooh.
What costume would you recommend for me? Obviously, this is pre-Halloween. I think he asked us the exact same question last year. Favorite Halloween costume as kids?
Well, I'll reiterate. Me and a bunch of friends went as Mortal Kombat 2 characters one year, and I had a full Raiden getup that I made, which was pretty dope.
Yeah.
And we had a Sub-Zero, we had a Reptile, and a Baraka, and we all did very, very good.
You should have had a friend just walk around in a purple t-shirt with a sign that said Toasty.
This would have been a Mortal Kombat 2 era, so it would have been a black shirt. But fair enough.
Toasty.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me it was my old Darth Vader costume, the old mask and plastic costume. They were terrible costumes, but sentimental value.
They were less costumes and more advertisements for costumes you actually wanted.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Here, put this smock on with this plastic mask with a string.
Yep.
I had one of those too. It was terrible.
Carl, with Deathstroke being announced, do you feel that DC is making a big mistake by doing movies with characters who are not well known? No. I think taking good characters who may not be well known and giving them their own films, as long as you give them a decent film, is a good thing. DC's got probably the deepest bench in comics as far as characters, just from what they started out with and companies they acquired over the years. So there's a lot of great characters that you can give their own film. I've said numerous times on the show, I would love to see a film for The Question. I think Marvel has shown that you can take obscure characters, give them, as long as you make them a good movie, those characters are no longer obscure anymore. 3-4 years ago, if you asked a kid on the street who was Rocket Raccoon, they're not going to know who it is. Now all the kids know who Rocket and Groot is. They're going to know who Black Panther is. And so, yeah, giving obscure characters movies is always a great idea. You can't keep going back to the characters that you've trotted out before. Drew, have you seen Wonder Woman yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I've not. I know. I've got this plane ride coming, so maybe it'll be on there.
Yeah, you're probably not going to watch it.
I'll get around to it.
Mario has been such a huge success for over 30 years. Why do Mario games have such great appeal and be innovative at the same time where other platforms like Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, and Bonk have failed? Oh, Bonk. That's deep.
Well, ultimately, it's going to sound fanboy, but I mean, you really got to just follow me here, man. Nintendo has a certain quality level that they strive for, and if it's not up to snuff, you won't see it. And they treat their Mario franchise with the utmost care because you dance with the girl who brung you. Mario brought Nintendo to the dance, so they treat Mario with respect. And anytime they're going to do a new iteration of the Mario franchise, they take great care that it is absolutely as fun and a joy to play as possible. And that's that's it. They don't let anything else get in the way. It has to be fundamentally fun to pick up and just play. And I think that's the Nintendo difference, and that's the Mario appeal, that Sonic and Bonk or whoever, yes, these were flagships for their respective consoles, but they don't have that same just instant satisfaction, I guess. Sonic, for all the praise he gets, it's a counterintuitive game. Like, you're asked to go fast, but you hit spikes all the time, and you can't go fast. Like, I get what they're going for, and when you do go fast, it's fun, but the game kind of doesn't want you to. And then, you have these labyrinth levels that kind of ask you to explore them, but yet you're supposed to go fast, so exploration is not fast. The game's kind of at odds with itself. Whereas like with the Mario game, it's kind of up to you to do whatever you want, but you're encouraged to do whatever you want, essentially, in a Mario game, and they find a way to reward you for it. It's the Breath of the Wild syndrome. Like, if you're curious, if you think you can do something in the game, go for it, and Nintendo will usually expect you to do that and reward you for it. So, like, oh, I wonder if I can jump up there. Hey, I can. And hey, look, there's a secret up here, or things of that nature. But I guess ultimately, and I noticed this with other games too. This is a little thing. I'm elaborating a little more than I should maybe, but that Nintendo difference that I'm talking about, I think about all the games that I fire up, third-party games on my Xbox or on my PlayStation 4 or even on my Switch, third-party games. I got to sit through probably 3 or 4 company logo screens, a loading screen, before I can push start and play a game. I can fire up a Nintendo game. You boot it on, as soon as you launch it, title screen, start, I'm playing the game within 10 seconds. It's a little thing, but they value that. They want, you know what I mean? Like,
they want to get you right in.
They want to get you right in. There shouldn't be a barrier between you and the game. And it's just one of those little Nintendo differences. Anyway, yeah, they treat Mario with care, and they always want to push it forward, but it always has to be fun. Yeah,
I think I enjoyed the 2D Sonic games a little more than you did. But I think, like, as far as Sonic goes, Crash and Bonk, whatever.
Yeah.
As far as Sonic goes, I think they really kind of more nailed the feel of what Sonic should be when they kind of got into, like, the 3D environments, like with the Sonic Adventures on Dreamcast.
Okay.
Things like that. When you could have sense of speed and exploration and platforming.
Okay.
I think it really came into its own there, but again, what makes the Nintendo games, the core Nintendo games, so great is that it's generational, not in like the systems that it comes out on, but the people who make today's Mario games were taught by the people who made the Mario games for the previous generation. And so on and so forth. It's like a recipe that's handed down through generations. And each generation kind of adds their own little flavor to it.
Sure.
Whatnot. But the core recipe stays. Like, I'm sure Shigeru Miyamoto has very little to do with the actual making of the game anymore. He may pop in, throw a little suggestion out here and there.
Yeah.
And then he'll show up on the stage at E3. But it's like a recipe that gets handed down through generations, and Sonic didn't get a chance to get that. It was just like, his heyday was 16-bit.
Yep.
And then he kind of got new life when Dreamcast came out, but after that it was straight downhill.
Yep.
All right. So, Alan, thank you very much for your questions. Next, we have some questions from Mr. Chris Taylor. Hey, just got back from a week in Florida, and I can now lay claim to seeing a Disney movie, Thor, at Disney Springs AMC, with a person named Disney. Yes, that is his actual name. Love the movie.
Wow, okay.
Questions. All those Funko things Jay retweets, does he ever actually win any? I don't think so, because he always seems to retweet my retweets. Every once in a while, they got a cool one on there, and I try to win it, and yeah.
That begs the question.
He's won any.
That begs the question: does anybody ever win them? We'll never know.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Did you see what they're doing now? They have new Star Wars Funkos coming out that are scenes from the films. Like there's 4 that are coming out, and it's 4 scenes from A New Hope. It's R2 and 3PO after they crash landed on Tatooine.
Okay.
So they're kind of just standing there, and it's on like a base with the escape pods there and everything.
Oh, it's like a little diorama.
Yeah, it's a little diorama.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got like an Obi-Wan versus Vader one, Han sitting at the table with Greedo.
That's kind of neat.
And then Luke and Leia in the trash compactor.
That is a kind of a fun way to, look, they tapped out every franchise they
pretty
could
much.
possibly
They got to
do.
start doing some different stuff. And
so
I've noticed that company is very, they know what their bread and butter is.
Sure.
But they also aren't just sticking just to that.
Well, they can. Eventually, big-headed, big-eyed Funko Pops are going to get, passe.
Yeah.
And they're going to have nothing to fall back on.
Now they got like a lot of little fun things.
That's cool.
I've now seen Ragnarok twice, and I'm sure you'll get into it, but one of the things I got excited to see was the champions' heads added on the Grandmaster's buildings. I noticed what appeared to be Beta Ray Bill. Did you happen to catch this and others? Can you give any idea who else was on there? I think we can obviously we're going to review the film, but just to answer Chris's questions. I noticed Beta Ray Bill. I don't know if you did.
I did not, but upon further review, yes, that is Beta Ray Bill.
There was also, what's in the double something? There's another guy there, his name escapes me, and there, of course, was Hulk's face on it.
Right.
But yeah, apparently they're all like legit characters. It was cool to see Beta Ray Bill.
Does that mean we're not going to ever actually see Beta Ray Bill?
If you were to give me a list of Marvel characters that are unlikely to appear in a Marvel film, I would put Beta Ray Bill on that list.
Okay. I don't have to like it, but okay.
It's all right. It's okay. Can't have everything.
No. So
that's it for questions. Thank you, everyone, for sending them in. Now we have to get some news. If memory serves, a lot of little things kind of happen throughout the week. But
Let's do some cleanup.
We got two things to talk about here.
Okay.
The first one being we gotta go to the dumpster fire.
Okay.
Because I have noticed
this comes out next week, right?
17th.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I've noticed that I think Warner Brothers has already given up on this film.
Really?
Because they are pretty much giving it away.
Ah, yes.
The amount of TV spots and clips that are available from the film has exploded in the past couple of days.
Yeah.
They dumped 7 clips online. Like, typically, when you have the actors doing, like, the talk show circuit and one like that, they all kind of have the same clip or maybe 2 clips.
Sure.
And that's what you get out before the film. 7 clips.
I saw a few of them today. And
online.
Yeah. They seem to be... I don't know. Like,
and all these, like, quick TV ads are showing so much.
Well,
it's crazy.
Does that mean that they feel that by giving you all this footage that it's going to make you more inclined to go see the movie? Lucas isn't convinced.
I don't know. It's typically, like, this has been their problem with all their films. I think Wonder Woman included. I can't remember if they did this from Wonder Woman, but I remember specifically them doing this with Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, where they just kind of, like, that second big trailer for Batman v Superman was
the movie.
Yeah. Beat for beat showed you in sequence everything that was going to happen in that movie.
All right. Yeah. So I did watch.
They're showing so much stuff. You save something for the wedding night, you know?
Sure. I did watch some of these clips, and I did not like anything that I really saw.
It's just more of...
Okay, observations.
Okay.
I liked one thing. I liked 10 seconds of the clip with Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop of Gotham City with the bat signal, and Batman swoops down from on high in silhouette, looking kind of cool, and the Danny Elfman song played. And I went, oh, yeah. I have feelings for this.
Yeah.
And then
talk about that in a moment.
Then the Flash showed up, and I just wanted to throw my desk. So the Flash.
Every time I see something from this movie, I start to think, maybe. And then the Flash shows up, like, nope.
Yeah,
hashtag not my Flash.
He's awful in basically every single way. He's awful. And
I don't remember the Flash in the comics being the Cowardly Lion.
They're trying to make him the Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man is not the Cowardly Lion.
I know that, but
he's the quippy, wacky.
Yeah. You guys are so cool, and I'm just this little nerd. And did you watch the Steppenwolf clip?
Yeah.
Where he grabs the missile from the Batmobile?
Yeah.
We got some some late 90s CGI happening here, sir.
I would say maybe mid 2000s.
Okay, well, The Mummy Returns is
He
starting
doesn't
to look
look great.
No.
He doesn't look like he's not mid 90s CGI.
He's not mid 90s. It could be a lot better. Oh man, I don't know. I'm just not. There's just something off about all of it.
Hopefully, he'll receive a frame rate patch before the movie comes out.
Sure. So when you go in, the movie's got to download it. You got to wait a minute.
Yeah, we'll download the update.
I don't know. It just something seems off with it.
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel right.
I'm not expecting much.
And why are they still? They're still pretending that Superman is dead. What are we doing here?
I don't know. I'm gonna go see it.
What are we doing here? Then they got that poster where they're all standing there except for Superman, but then it says like you can't save the Earth alone or something, whatever the hell it says.
Yeah.
And Superman's logo is in the text. It's like, what are you doing?
One of the clips that really bothered me was like when Bruce is lamenting like, it's a team, but Superman would bring this team together and team needs Clark and he was so great. He's more human than me. I'm like, no! No! Bruce Wayne says none of this, ever!
Not only that, but we spent the whole movie like beating the tar out of each other.
It's just like...
I know. You don't gotta explain it to me. We'll see.
Let's get to the second issue.
I'm gonna be a world away when this comes out. I know.
I'll probably go see it with Jay and Alan or whatnot. And let's talk about the second issue with this. As you mentioned earlier, you view this as a good thing. I do not.
Okay.
It's that Danny Elfman said that he would be using his 1989 Batman score in parts of Justice League and also throwing back to the John Williams score for Superman.
Yeah.
I do not like any of this.
I'm okay with it only because... Now, look, granted, the movie is not what... I think the movie is not going to be good. But basically, anything they can do to try and pull some kind of positive feelings out of this, good luck.
Yeah, but your positive feelings aren't for the movie. Your positive feelings are for the older movies that this music was attached to.
I agree, but you can't deny, though, that music is powerful. And
music is powerful. I'm not denying that. I'm saying they haven't earned this. You have not earned... Well, also, second thing,
I mean...
one of the few... I still think Man of Steel is a good but flawed movie. But one of the things they nailed in Man of Steel, one of the things they really did well was the score. That Hans Zimmer score was incredible.
I don't remember anything about it.
They came up with a theme for Superman that I'm not going to say replaces the John Williams score, because I'll say right now, as big of a Star Wars fan as I am, and I love John Williams' work, my favorite John Williams work is the Superman score.
Oh, it embodies the character perfectly.
It, as he has said, it literally says the name Superman. Superman. So,
that's funny.
But no, it's like the Man of Steel theme was fantastic. You don't need to replace it with something that A, you haven't earned, and B is... You can't draw comparisons between the two incarnations of this character.
I know what you're saying. I don't know. I'm okay with it only because I don't know, like
I hear the Danny Elfman Batman theme now, and I don't think of the '89 films. I think of the animated series.
Sure.
Because Shirley Walker just adapted that theme so well into the series.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but like. But to me, it's just synonymous with Batman, and like
it is.
If you're gonna give me
Batman,
no, but he hasn't gotten a fair shake at it. So
no,
like I'm okay with. I don't know. It's Batman. I want to hear that song.
Versus his greatest villain, Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I want that song to be there. It's like it's Batman, of course.
Yeah.
And that can go, that little addition alone kind of makes me like go, well, okay, I'll try it, I know where you're coming from. I'm just saying,
do your own thing.
I'm just saying these things are kind of, those songs to me are as important as the costume almost nowadays to me. Like I just, they're inseparable in my brain. So when I heard it and I saw Batman coming down to talk to Gordon, and J.K. Simmons, not for nothing, looks like a pretty good.
Looks like a good Gordon.
Good Gordon. I'm like, there's something there.
It also drives me nuts that he simply looks across the small body of water and sees Metropolis.
Yeah, that makes literally
that drives me crazy.
Sense at all. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what it's going to be, but if you think they're already quitting on the film, that's kind of funny. You might not be wrong, but
I think that they may think what I said about it is that, we had this big peak with Wonder Woman. We got one last Snyder bullet to swallow, and then we can kind of move beyond that. So,
can it recover though? Like
it all, not for nothing, I think it all lies on Wonder Woman's shoulders. If she's the same character in this that she was in her film, then I think, I'm not necessarily saying recover, but it will be able to take the hit.
Okay.
And keep moving on.
Everything else is kind of in a holding pattern though.
Well, can you blame them?
Except for Aquaman, which has already been filmed, which has
done.
filmed. But yeah, it's done. But like Flash is on hold. Batman, who knows?
They announced casting for Shazam. They said that's going to be the next film, but
that's
they're really not rushing.
Is that even tied to this though, or is that going to be independent?
There have been different conflicting. Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Good question.
The fire burns.
The fire still burns. It's nice and warm.
Yes.
Well. It'll be what it'll be.
Yeah. It's going to make money.
But you know what? It won't make as much as they want it to.
No.
And fandom will wonder, how can you possibly screw that up?
How did you not? This should be the first, we shouldn't be asking like, what will be the first film to hit 1 billion domestically, Last Jedi or Infinity War?
Yeah.
It should be assumed that this would be the first film to hit 1 billion domestically, and it's just not going to do it.
If you were to say it before Batman vs. Superman came out, or even before Man of Steel came out, and said, like, they're making this Justice League movie, how much do you think it'll bank? I would have told you all the money in the world.
Yeah.
But after, again, they didn't earn it. They didn't earn that. Their track record is poor, and people know. So why should I get excited about your Justice League movie when your lead-ups to it are not good?
No.
And they have not instilled good faith.
Trying to play catch-up with Marvel. Don't worry about what Marvel's doing.
Just
do your own thing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Marvel,
big news story today.
Well, yes.
Well, big. It's still a big.
It's a big story, and where there's smoke, you never know.
Yeah, there's a ninja. Smoke from Mortal Kombat.
I see what you did there. I appreciate that.
I kind of want to go in a slightly different direction.
I understood that reference.
Way to go, you. So it was announced earlier today, news story broke earlier today, that Disney was in talks to purchase 20th Century Fox.
21st Century Fox. I know.
Whatever.
They rebranded. It's weird.
So, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So this is not like Fox as a whole, because apparently Fox just wants to focus on one thing they do horribly and one thing they do pretty well. The one thing they do horribly being news, and the one thing they do pretty well, which is sports.
See, I would say they do both terribly, but that's me. That's fine. I know what you're saying. But I find that to be, that report was startling for two reasons. Number one, the idea that Disney could buy back their toys was like, oh, it's tantalizing. It's exciting. But the other thing is, like, if you're Fox, like, really? You want to ditch your movie side? Like, with the legacy that they have?
Don't get me wrong, there is legacy there. How many films a year do you really see from them anymore, though?
I don't know. That's a good. You know what? That's a good question. I never thought about it.
The legacy is there, but the modern continuing of that legacy really isn't.
Is it losing them money? I can't imagine it is, but the X-Men flicks and all that.
I don't necessarily think it's losing them money.
Are they just not into it?
But I think it's costing them more money that they're kind of willing to spend. Like, if they want to focus on news and sports,
interesting.
Those are two very expensive games to be in.
Sure, totally.
And if you're not fully dedicated to this film division, what are you holding on to it for?
Wow. Well, ultimately, I guess the talks died out. But
Yes.
there were talks.
There were talks. Talks have reportedly stalled.
Well, let's fire it back up here, because
So-
I want my Fantastic Four movie.
Let's talk about if this were to happen.
Uh-huh.
And this makes sense because I was talking to Nate, who we had on the show for our horror episode, or a couple weeks ago. I was talking to him workday, and he said that he would not be comfortable with it just because he doesn't like the idea of Disney owning
everything,
more and more and more.
Well,
this purchased. I mean, I can see that, and that's a valid point.
it is a valid point. But let's think about what they're getting.
It makes sense for Disney to go after this.
Absolutely, it does.
Because if they got this,
There's two big reasons.
Two big reasons.
You're going to name them.
The first real big one is Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
21st Century Fox still owns the original Star Wars film.
And they always will.
New Hope. They always will. They're not letting that go. I think that is one of the primary reasons we have not seen a
unaltered trilogy
release
that's the reason.
Since Disney purchased it.
That is the reason.
Another fear I have is that Lucas put in the contract that they can't do that.
I doubt it. Because if I were Disney, I'd be like, no, we want it.
We're giving you $4 billion.
Yeah.
If we want to make Han Solo,
Not
star, Breaking 3, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But Fox has always maintained ownership of
A New Hope.
A New Hope, the original. Yeah. They distributed Empire and Jedi,
and they still do until 2020.
And they didn't have the foresight that Lucas had to
ownership-wise
get everything
right.
So that would open a big door for the possibility of what would probably be one of the biggest home film releases.
Oh, easily. I'd buy it. You know me.
Yeah.
Unaltered, cleaned up, remastered. Yep. Give it to me. Give it to me now.
Blu-ray, I'll take it.
Yep.
So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing they would get is they would get X-Men back. They would get Fantastic Four back.
That's correct. And
a lot of little things surrounding that, but those are the two big ones.
Yep.
They get X-Men back and they get Fantastic Four back.
And like we've been saying on this show, and like I want to keep just shouting from the rooftops, make Marvel whole again. That's
yep.
And if I'm Disney, I don't know. The thing is, to them, they might not put the same value on it that a fan like me would.
Yeah.
But I think they should, because once you have everything back together again, look at it this way. The Avengers franchise is winding down.
Yes.
Okay, Infinity War is going to be huge, and its sequel will be huge. But once those are out, Evans and Downey and Hemsworth, these guys ain't hanging around forever on these franchises. They're just not. Robert Downey's not getting any younger. Chris Evans is already kind of, flip-flopped a little bit if he wants to stick around or not.
He decided to become Captain America in real life.
Yeah, kind of. So you're going to have to reboot or make some changes soon. Well, hey, here's this Fox deal. How do we continue our juggernaut movies without the Avengers? Here's how. You buy Fox, and then you can relaunch the Fantastic Four in your little unit. Just continue the universe. Just keep it going. Or start a new separate universe with the X-Men, who are a proven commodity.
Yes.
Everyone loves the X-Men, and everyone would go nuts thinking about the prospect of Marvel making their own X-Men movie.
As much, I'm all on board for Fantastic Four in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Absolutely.
All on board for that. And I think I came up with a pretty decent film idea. I
think we both have ideas on how that would work.
And as much as I would want to see on screen that classic shot of Wolverine taking a swipe at Captain America and the clash on the shield and whatnot, I don't think I would want the X-Men
in the Marvel Universe?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it's so much.
It's a lot. It really is.
So much.
It's a lot. The X-Men are a lot to handle.
You've already tried the Inhumans.
Yeah.
It didn't work. You tried to make the Inhumans X-Men. It didn't work.
Right.
You go back and try that again. You're just gonna confuse the audience.
You wouldn't necessarily be trying it again. You have the actual X-Men.
Yeah, no, you have them, but like you're trying to get the audience to buy into another group of people who are outcasts and things like that.
Established
the Inhumans. I wouldn't. It's tough because like I wouldn't want to see them in their own spun off universe because we've done that. We've seen that.
Yeah. Well,
if you were going to do them, I want it's funny. I want it and don't want it at the same time.
I understand.
So if you're going to give it to me, and this will never happen because money, wait a good long time.
We'll see what happens. But I just had a really cool thought. You mentioned the iconic image of Wolverine, throwing hands with Cap. You know what I would like to see in a movie?
What?
That one Incredible Hulk cover brought to life.
Oh, the McFarlane cover?
Yes.
Hulk
where they can just frame it where such Wolverine is on screen and he's looking at the camera kind of, and he puts his claws in front of his face, and in the reflection of the claws you see the Hulk.
Yep.
I would pop pretty hard for that.
Yeah.
That would be
awesome.
I would geek out very hard.
That would get me to forget a lot of things I've been thinking lately, and that I'm going to get into with the Thor review.
Well, talks have stalled, so there's not much to really say right now. But the fact that was reported at all tells me something's going.
That tells me that Fox pulled away from the table, and Disney wants to get him back to the table, so Disney leaked the report.
You think? Interesting. Maybe. Either
that, or they couldn't agree on a price. Disney, Fox wants too much, and Disney doesn't want to pay it, which I don't understand. And again, Fox leaks the report to put pressure on Disney.
Yeah, I mean, either way though, it makes a lot of sense, and even I agree with the reservations that Nate has about Disney owning everything, because that is a little scary. I'm not a big monopoly guy. But when you break it down of what we just talked about, what are they getting? They're kind of just getting back keys to things they already should have anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. And, that's make Marvel whole again. That's all. Yeah.
And I think like the only 3 characters film-wise that they don't own outright, if that deal was done, I think the only 3 they wouldn't own outright are Spider-Man. They've already fixed that. Hulk. They can't do a solo Hulk film because the film rights are with Universal.
Right.
And I think Namor.
Yeah, Namor's a complicated one too, and I don't know anyone. Does anyone know what's up with that?
I think Namor might be with Universal as well.
Well, but maybe it's like the Hulk, where he can't have his own movie, but he can show up in others.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they would have had to have done it by now, because if you do it beyond Justice League, they're just kind of looking like a copycat. So yeah, that I think that was pretty much it for the news.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah,
I don't have much else to add to that. Trying to think if anything else crossed my mind today. No, that's it. That's what's up.
So, video game news?
Not really.
Poked out this week earlier. Apparently, Odyssey has sold well.
2 million copies.
To the surprise of none.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Something I would really like to see Nintendo do this generation. Now, should I get a Switch, it'll most likely be this holiday season.
Okay.
Really, even though I think the Mario bundle's a little overpriced, that'd probably be the route I went.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see Nintendo come up with some new Nintendo this generation. I did it, I think, once in the Wii U with Splatoon.
Splatoon is
new IP stuff.
Yeah. Splatoon is big.
We love Mario. We love Link. We love the tried and true Nintendo characters. We know the games are always going to be fun, but let's get some new stuff.
Well,
like the third party stuff, you're never going to get 100% back.
No, but it's fine.
Get some new stuff.
No, I hear you. Well, they gave you Splatoon and Splatoon 2, very well received, and they gave you ARMS, and that's only in the last year that you got a new Splatoon game and a new ARMS, which is brand new IP. Whether or not you like those games, that's on you. But that is new. That is new IP. What they're not going to do is they're probably not going to release a new IP in the same genre as existing IP. Why are they going to make another platformer when they can just make a new Mario? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Unfortunate.
I don't. I think they know what they're doing.
Take the ideas that you don't use on Mario and put them in a different platform.
Oh well, yeah. No, I get that. I mean, some stuff is a little. They definitely have a I don't want to say a rule book, but they definitely have ideas that they rule are not fitting for their franchises. But they don't often throw those away. What actually, like you just said, what actually does end up happening is they take those ideas historically and they do put them into new IP. Whether that will happen again going forward, yeah, maybe, probably. It seems like honestly, it seems like there's some new lifeblood over there in the last 5-10 years, and it makes sense actually because executives leave, people age out, retire. You gotta fill the void, and like you were mentioning earlier, these people that are in there now are younger, and they're learning from the guys who did it before them, and they're being given more freedom to do new things to push Nintendo forward. You're gonna see some new stuff. You will.
All right.
Don't worry, it's coming. Yeah, don't worry.
Support us. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier. This past Friday, we, like many of you, I'm sure, saw the latest chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor Ragnarok. Sure the most metal name of a movie ever.
Yes, it's very metal.
So metal. Before we get to the movie, let's talk about the fiasco of actually seeing Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, what a hassle.
I like to think, typically when a movie like this comes out, be it, Marvel... Star Wars film, something like that. I think we've got our system down pretty well. We live in a glorious age now where we do not have to stand in line for 2 hours to get decent seats. Most theaters around us do reserve seating, and you pick your seats when you purchase your ticket. So as it goes, I pretty much purchase the tickets for everyone, and then everyone shows up at the theater. Y'all's give me your cash, and I give you the tickets. And we go see the movie. And this has worked well for about 5-6 films now.
Yep.
Until Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I purchased the tickets. I showed up at the theater. It's getting close to showtime. I noticed no one's here quite yet the way they normally are. Usually it's Alan shows up first, and then you and Jen within a half an hour afterwards. And that's usually about 20 minutes before the film starts.
Sure. Assigned seating.
Yeah, it's no reason the only reason to get there any earlier is just stand in line for snacks.
Sure.
This time we brought our own, leftover Halloween.
Attaboy.
Candy. But you're sitting there and you show up. No Jen.
No.
And time goes on. No Alan.
No Alan.
So what happened to Jen?
She double booked herself and forgot about the movie. Yeah.
Don't you guys have a shared calendar on your phones?
No.
You might want to get that.
No.
Find it very handy for
No, we're not doing that.
Julie and myself.
No, we're not doing that.
What are you trying to hide from Jen, Drew?
Nothing, but I tell her what we're doing, and then she'll either will put it in her calendar or she won't. But I told her, so I'm just going to step back. So yeah, she got double booked. She had a tattoo appointment, and she didn't make the movie. Then we heard from Alan.
Yes, we heard from Alan.
And there was a car fire on the 290. And I checked the map when he said it. Sure enough, on my Google map, yep, solid red line going back past Niagara Falls Boulevard.
It's unfortunate that Alan ran into that situation.
It really is, because
after he was supposed to be on our show and then ditched us.
Are you raging him from the show now?
I'm not saying I got an abandoned car and set it on fire in order to stop Alan from making the show. I'm not saying that.
Okay. What are you saying?
Whether or not people I may or may not have had contact with got an abandoned car and set on fire to prevent Alan from getting in the show as punishment for ditching our show. I'm not saying that either. Listen, it's it's a crazy world we live in. Things happen.
I'm confused.
Sometimes lessons have to be learned.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying I'm the teacher.
Well, we missed him. He was missed.
Sure.
Especially later when Jen brought a lady friend to meet Alan, and he wasn't there.
Yeah. It was a nice lady friend.
She's a very nice lady friend. Hopefully this pans out. We'll see.
Yes.
Because by my account, it would.
Yeah.
At least in going by one conversation, but still,
Yeah.
Snooze you lose, Alan.
And you ditch the show when you lose, or maybe, I don't know. Things happen. Accidents happen. I don't know. Crazy world.
So it was just the three of us for the movie.
Yep.
Which
me, you, and my wife.
It was a perfect storm of
just craziness.
But we were there and we saw the movie. Wow.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts about it.
Lots of thoughts.
And I don't want that to come off like I did not like the movie, because that's not true at all.
I think both of us are kind of going to be like that. So let's just get on front here right now. We had a fun time with this movie. We enjoyed it.
It was super fun.
It was fun.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun scenes, a lot of fun dialogue.
Yep.
Cool stuff happens.
Yep.
And, there's new characters that I actually love a lot now. Like,
Korg?
Korg is probably my new favorite character ever.
Yeah.
He was tremendous.
This is Meek. The insect has blades for hands.
So about that.
Yeah.
Want a fun observation about Meek? Or about Korg and Meek and all that?
The fact that they're taken from the Planet Hulk storyline and they're completely changed.
Well, there's that, but okay. So, no, okay. First thing about Korg, did you notice how he introduced himself?
Korg, giant rock monster.
Well, he says that, but what does he say before that?
It escapes me.
He says, "I'm a thing, giant rock monster." Wink. Wink. It was subtle as hell. I don't know if anyone picked up on it, but I did.
I did not. So
he says it like that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's weird."
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so he is a rock monster.
Yeah.
Meek, right?
Yep.
Is a little scissor hand monster, right?
Yeah.
What did Korg say he was in prison for?
I don't remember.
He tried to start a revolution, and it failed because he didn't pass out enough pamphlets, and no one showed up. He's a rock monster whose literal weakness was paper. And he accidentally kills Meek, who is scissors.
Yep.
Rock beats scissors.
Meek got better.
He did, but rock beat scissors, paper beat rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that right away.
Yep.
But once I thought about it, I'm like, that is ridiculous and hilarious.
Yeah, it was a comedy.
It was a comedy.
It was... I'm going to say something here. It's going to sound weird.
Okay.
But it was everything I didn't want it to be.
Ah. Okay.
I didn't want a comedy.
Sure.
Now, granted, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Still laughed. Didn't want a comedy.
I know where you're coming from, and I feel like the Thor
got
franchise...
my comedy.
Yeah. Guardians
of the
has that
Galaxy.
lockdown. Yes, I agree. Totally. Guardians seems to have influenced certain things in the Marvel.
Guardians pulls off being a great science fiction action movie and a comedy with a ton of heart.
Yes. This didn't have much heart.
This did not have much heart. I said to you in theater, and folks, if you're new to the show, there are going to be spoilers.
Yeah,
we're kind of starting.
Get ready for spoilers.
There's going to be spoilers. I said to you in theater, Drew, they did a scene where their father died.
And I felt nothing.
And I did not roll a tear.
Yeah.
And I'm the easiest cry in the world when it comes to theaters.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, the scene with Jonathan Kent and Clark when he shows him the ship and he says, "Can I keep pretending I'm your son?" He says, every time I see that, still roll tears like crazy.
Mm.
This one, I don't know if it was the fact that it was blatantly shot on a green screen.
Yeah.
or if it was the fact that Anthony Hopkins was pretty much probably wearing the clothes he rolled up to the studio in. It's
yeah, I know. No, I know what you're saying, and that is unfortunate. The thing is, none of it's like bad. It's not like any of this movie is bad. It's just not what I thought it was going to be exactly, and I have a bigger point to make about all this. This movie kind of went out of its way to kind of, I mean, it's Ragnarok, so
yeah.
The destruction of Asgard was kind of a foregone conclusion, but the way it was done in the
was it foregone though?
I think, yeah,
like you kind of think at the end of the day the heroes are going to save the stuff, and the fact that they actually destroyed Asgard.
Yeah, I'm not surprised actually, especially and given the way. So okay, I feel like Thor as a franchise is a tricky one, and Marvel has never quite been comfortable with it in their pantheon, in the movies, I mean. So Iron Man, tech hero.
Yeah.
Thor and Cap is realistic. He fought in World War II. It's a serum. It's sciencey. So Marvel's, MCU is very science-based. Thor was this mystical thing. And I feel like they went to great lengths in that first Thor movie to try and like pseudoscience it with technology is just so advanced that you consider it magic.
Yeah.
All that business. It's like they were kind of ashamed of it. I don't know, maybe that's the wrong word. Well, no, I'll use it. Marvel was kind of either ashamed of it or didn't know how to handle it or didn't trust the audience to buy that if they do a mystical fantasy film, that would marry with the others well.
Because that was still early on.
Early.
They were still establishing themselves.
Right.
And so like they kind of did a fish out of water story.
Right.
With Thor 1. Did a little bit more of one with Thor 2, but by this movie comes around, you've had 2 Thor films and 2 Avenger films that Thor have been in. You can't do the fish out of water story anymore.
No. And the thing is, like, we all like the character, but I feel like his world has just been missed potential. I feel like it's been a lot of missed potential. Like Asgard and the Nine Realms and Malekith and all of that stuff should have been a lot more. It just should have been more than what we've seen so far. And this movie, I feel like they went out of their way to just go like, you know what? We're throwing it away.
Yeah, they didn't have to really establish anything in this film because it all had been established in the previous 2 films. And, again, the first 2 Thor films are on the weaker end of the spectrum of the Marvel
like I said,
Cinematic Universe.
Missed opportunities.
But they're still better than,
they're enjoyable.
80% of the stuff that came out prior to the original Iron Man.
Right.
But again, it's just like, this is not the character I was hoping Thor was going to be.
Well, here's the thing about that.
Like, not a comedian. He's not the comedian of the team.
Here's the thing about that, though.
I want him saying "have at thee" and things like that.
I know. I'm with you. But here's the actual interesting thing I feel about that aspect, because I've seen some critique of that. Even though I feel like there's been missed opportunities to really elevate Thor's world and tell fantasy stories and all that stuff and really build it up to be important and make me care about it, one thing I did like about this movie is that one of the themes is actually change. And Thor has grown up. Thor has changed. He is not the same person he once was. And one of his points of contention with Loki, and in the movie, they even like Thor comes to kind of like he resigns the fact that Loki, we're brothers, we're never going to agree. You're always going to be who you are.
You're you and I'm me,
and I'm me, and that's it. And like
the way
it's not even adversarial anymore. It's just like he's accepted it and he's moving on. Thor is open to just moving on, and Loki is content to be the same. Thor is all about change. And I think that's cool. I actually think that's interesting. His character grew in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's pointed out that Loki's did not. Although, we'll see about
let's
that.
Talk about Loki for a second, because, and another character we're going to talk about, Kate Blanchett's Hela.
Yeah.
Knocked it out of the park.
She's great
in this film.
She's excellent.
Alan asked us a question earlier in this week. He said, does Hela knock Loki off the top spot of villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
And like you
said, to which I responded, he's not really a villain anymore.
No.
He hasn't been a villain since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, he's kind of come around to more like chaotic.
He's an opportunist.
He's kind of chaotic neutral now.
He's going to go where the wind blows.
Yes.
He's
and
not,
that might make him a villain. It might make him not a villain.
So, whereas Hiddleston's performance as Loki is always great.
Love him.
It's always on point.
Yep.
I think that his performance garnering the fan base that it did in his first couple appearances made Marvel kind of go soft on him. Like, we can sell this guy more as a hero than we can a villain. If he's hero-ish, we get to use him more, which brings more people to the box office.
Sure.
And
I won't go that far. I do think he's still villainous enough. He double crosses Thor again.
Did they double cross him that badly?
Yeah,
really.
And he always will. And even in the end, even though Loki helps save the day,
not only just help save day, like he's straight up fighting for people.
That's fine
on the Bifrost.
Yeah. He's kind of a good. He's trying. Well, he's trying to change too. So he's trying to change.
Yeah, villains don't try to change.
But is he though? Because here's why. He also knows he's got to get out of Dodge alive, because Hela's either going to kill him or he's got to get out of there. And so he's using the opportunity to destroy Asgard and escape. But before he does, he takes a nice longing look at a certain cosmic cube.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think it was kind of funny how
he snatched it.
When Hela goes into the vault, she knocks over the Infinity Gauntlet. Fake. I was kind of wondering when they said they were going down the vault, I'm like, I wonder if they're going to address that. Because in the original Thor movie,
it's there.
The Infinity Gauntlet's there. And then, of course, we're all freaking out. Little did we know that's kind of where they were going.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fake. And so before he incites Ragnarok itself, dude, he totally swiped the cube, and he's going to give it. And he's going to give it to Thanos.
Yeah. Well, he may give it to Thanos at first, but he's not going to. That's my problem. Is he's not going to stay. He may do villainous things, but he's not going to stay a villain, which in definition doesn't make him, in my book, a villain.
So
it's like when I used to do weekly top fives on my Facebook page.
Okay.
And each day would be a different entry. And one of the top fives I did was top 5 greatest science fiction villains. And Darth Vader was my number 5. And you would have thought I'd just like trash Star Wars back to the Stone Age. People were like, how is he not number 1? Yada, yada. I'm like, he turns back to being good. Villain is villain till the end. So, yeah. So that was Loki. Hela. They changed Hela a lot from the comics. Not necessarily in appearance.
No,
but
appearance is spot on.
Her appearance is off the page, which I love when they do. When they announce that a character like that is going to be in a film, your immediate thought is like, I wonder how they're going to undo her headdress.
No, they steered into it, and it was awesome.
Right into it. It was fantastic.
This director actually embraces the headgear of all these characters, and I'm very okay with that.
Yeah.
Thor gets a helmet finally. Loki rocks the helmet.
Yep.
It's dope.
Cate Blanchett's performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that she ultimately did the movie for her kids. And I like I like reading that when a star decides to do that, especially with the Marvel films, because then they just want to go have fun.
Well,
and it's definitely reflected in the performance. Hela has changed considerably from the comics, because if I remember correctly, in the comics, Hela is Loki's daughter. She's still the goddess of death and reigns over the underworld. But in this film, she's Odin's daughter.
She's the long-lost sister.
She's the firstborn of Odin, who Odin banishes because she got too greedy for power.
Yep. And she wielded Mjolnir before Thor did.
Yeah. And she destroys Mjolnir, and to many surprise, including mine, Mjolnir stays destroyed.
It's gone.
It does not come back at all in the film.
No.
Now, I'm sure since at the end of the film we have Thor is now
He's
king of Asgard,
Yep.
or what's left of it. So it's entirely possible that since he has the powers of the Allfather, he can simply reforge the hammer.
If he wanted to, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. If you can find the Uru metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God, folks! If you go see this film for only one reason, go see it for the 15 minutes of screen time that Jeff Goldblum has, because you know what? You will have paid a fair price for
He's
that.
magical.
He's
magical.
It's just fantastic. He's just kind of, he's being Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He's not like,
He's not acting.
He's not really acting. He's just kind of being himself, but it's still great. It's funny, like you see interviews with this guy and then you see him in his films and he's totally like different.
Well,
it shows you his chops as an actor. And all the stuff we've been getting from him in promotion of this is just amazing.
I think Marvel just said, like, dude, just go nuts. We don't care.
We need Jeff Goldblum.
Let's just go be weird.
This is, for all intents and purposes, a throwaway part.
But not anymore.
Yeah.
Because he basically stole every scene he was in.
Shoot it
if
like Thanksgiving dinner.
If you didn't know who the Grandmaster was before, you know now.
Yep.
And you probably want more of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up again down the road, because
I think Marvel has already said there will be a Grandmaster Collector connection. Because they are brothers.
That's fun.
So we know what the Hulk's butt looks like.
We do know what the Hulk's butt looks like, and Thor knows more than that.
Yes. Let's talk about the Hulk.
Let's talk about the Hulk.
So obviously we all know the Hulk is in this.
Yeah.
Trailers today give away way too much. They did not give away how awesome that fight was.
No, the fight was fantastic.
The Thor Hulk fight in the arena, where they kind of make fun of Avengers 2 a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And Thor becomes Raiden for a moment.
Yeah, that was awesome. I like they really steer into Thor's lightning powers in this movie a lot, actually.
But the fight in the arena is just incredible, pun intended.
It's super fun, and Hulk gets some character work in here.
Yeah, Hulk is talking in this. And we get, okay, you can nitpick Hulk's presence in this film.
Okay.
Hulk's presence in this film.
Why is that?
Because Hulk has to stay angry to stay Hulk.
Okay. Yes.
He's not angry anymore. He reverts back to Banner.
Yes.
And this film takes place 2 years after Age of Ultron.
Right.
Avengers Age of Ultron. And apparently Hulk has been Hulk for that 2 years. He has not reverted to Banner at all.
Right. We
get a Hulk childlike explanation of how he ended up on that planet.
Right.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. We get a basic explanation, and the explanation works. But Hulk's character develops in this film. The nitpicks aside, he's a great addition to it.
I think you get insight into Hulk's actual character. Hulk he knows he's seen as, he
doesn't want to go back to Earth.
No.
He's like, I've got it too good here.
Yeah. He's happy there to a degree. And he doesn't want his friend to leave. So when Thor is talking about leaving, Hulk doesn't want him to leave.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man. It was some fun work being done here with Hulk.
Do you think Hulk and Valkyrie were
no
doing the gamma dance, so to speak?
No,
under the sheets.
I think they're just friends.
Okay.
I don't think Hulk gets down like that.
Okay.
He's a little too.
He did in the
comic. I know.
Planet Hulk comic.
Yes.
He had a wife and everything. Hulk had a wife.
Yes, I know.
Not bad.
This Hulk's a little too childish, I think, for that.
Okay.
He's very childlike.
Yeah. And then at some point he does revert to Banner.
Yep.
And we get some great performance by Mark Ruffalo.
Yep. Super fun.
It's kind of a buddy cop road pick from that point out.
Yep. Valkyrie's great.
Valkyrie's awesome.
I love Valkyrie.
Yeah, definitely want to see more of her.
Worthy addition to the franchise and a worthy addition to Marvel's characters, actually. She has her own motivations, and she was once, one of the Valkyries of Asgard, and she left because the royal family was terrible.
Yeah, not the character Valkyrie from the comics. She was just a Valkyrie. They clarified that she's not the Valkyrie that you see in the comics. They actually said that the Valkyrie that in the flashback scene where all the Valkyries are fighting Hela, the Valkyrie that takes the blade in the back for her.
That was Valkyrie?
That was the Valkyrie from the comics.
She's dead?
Yeah, she's dead.
Oh, all right.
She's dead. Sorry. So there's that. Valkyrie's great. The Sakaar is about 40 minutes of the movie that takes place. That's all done well and whatnot. Doctor Strange.
That was a fun sequence.
That was a really fun little cameo. How do you feel about the yellow gloves?
I like the yellow gloves. Here's why I like them. Because they look kind of dumb, but Marvel doesn't care, and they're sticking to it.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
they are accurate to the comic.
They are comic accurate, but it's like they don't. It makes the costume look a little Spirit Halloween story.
They don't match his outfit necessarily, but I like the fact that they're rolling with it.
Yeah,
I kind of respect that.
Did you also notice that, unlike previous stingers from the end of Marvel films, post-credit scenes and mid-credit scenes and whatnot, that are filmed specifically for that purpose, the Doctor Strange mid-credit scene with Thor was pulled right from Ragnarok. It was the same scene.
Was it?
Yeah. If you go back and watch the mid-credit scene, where Strange is talking with Thor about finding his father.
Okay.
It's the same scene.
All right.
So, I don't know, I guess Marvel's kind of being lazy. I get there's a whole baggage of stuff I'm going to unpack at the end of this, and that's part of it. But
I don't know if they're being lazy. I think they know what the next big thing is going to be, and it's Infinity War, and I think they want to keep that kind of close to the chest for right now.
I can understand that.
And what they do set up in the credit scenes does get us there to a degree.
Wasn't
that big ship? That big ship. That's. Yeah,
I know what it is, but it's just for a while now, the mid-credit and post-credit scenes have not generated the excitement that they did in the early days.
Well, they can't
of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They can't forever.
No, they can't. I think. I'm just saying, they're not as eagerly anticipated.
Well, there's not much left to show you, really.
It's not so
they
much
were excited.
need.
They were exciting before because we had never seen this stuff before, and every one that they did was a teaser for what's coming next.
Yeah,
and it was showing us stuff that we never thought we'd see. So, Thor's hammer at the end of was it Cap that had?
It was Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
What? We all lost our mind.
Yeah.
Then Thanos. And the Infinity Gauntlet and just stuff like that, stuff we never thought we were going to get. Now we all know where this is all going to culminate. We all know all that. So what's left to really shock me with at this point?
I could see that, but still, I would like to see more kind of handoffs to the next film.
Okay.
Aside from what they've kind of been leaning more into is quick little comedy bits.
That's okay. This one, I wouldn't say this one had a comedy bit. I mean,
it was just
Goldblum a little bit.
Yeah,
but this one kind of set up.
I mean, I'm not going to knock the Goldblum one because Goldblum.
I thought the one with Thor and his Guardians was fine because basically they're off to Earth to try and set up a new Asgard. You ain't gonna get there. You're not getting there.
Well, we'll see.
What
else? What did we cover?
We covered quite
Thor,
a bit.
Loki, Hulk.
Stan's a barber this time.
Strange.
Stan gets to cut Thor's hair.
Yeah, Stanley is cuts Thor hair. Thor begs him not to.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, it lacked the heart that some of the previous Marvel films have had.
It definitely did. But at the same time, I still, it's hard. Like I said, I feel like there's a missed opportunity with Thor as a character and as a franchise.
Yeah,
it could have been more. And like Asgard is kind of destroyed, and they play it for laughs. Like Korg, remember Korg's like, we can rebuild this place.
This will be a new place.
Oh, yeah, yep, probably not now.
Sutter.
Yeah.
Voiced by Clancy Brown.
Speaking of unseen unexpectedness, we get cameos from Sam Neill, Thor's brother, Chris Hemsworth's brother, and
the least known
Matt Damon shows up.
The least known Helmsworth, Luke Helmsworth.
Matt Damon showed up.
That was hysterical, and that was like, I guess that was the day Anthony Hopkins actually did show up. Not so much for his death scene.
That was fantastic.
It was a good scene.
That was very really fun. That was great stuff. But yeah, my point though earlier, like they really do go out of it. It does seem like Marvel couldn't wait to just blow up Ragnarok, kill off the Warriors 3. Where was Sif, by the way? We don't know.
She was shooting her
other show
television series.
Well,
I mean that's fine because like the Warriors 3 were killed off so quickly and unceremoniously.
Yeah.
Like Hogarth, was that his name? The Asian one.
Yes, he lasted the longest.
He got a little bit of screen time.
The other two were taken out just immediately.
Yeah,
that was kind of a
bummer.
They
you know what they were? They were Ironhide in the Transformers movie.
Yeah, I mean, like Hela shows up, they're dead. Like, that's it.
They weren't even Ironhide because Ironhide was in it for like good 10 minutes or so. They were Prowl and Brawl.
Yeah,
Brawn.
It's like Marvel just couldn't wait to just get this all out of the way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a shame because, I think there's a lot of potential there that we're not going to see now. But that's okay. Again, it was a fun ride. And,
Executioner.
Heimdall makes it. Oh, Scourge makes it. He was kind of cool. Carl Urban.
The M16s.
He got a little arc there too. Redemption arc.
A little bit of arc and got him from a place called Texas.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. Which apparently they can fire a lot of bullets too without reloading.
Yeah, well, Heimdall gets a little more. I think that was because Idris Elba said, "You gotta give me more."
Yeah, good. Give him more. He's great.
He's, basically just a glorified doorman.
Yes,
in these films.
Not anymore. Now he's got a little more.
Yeah,
more to do. Yeah, overall, man, it's a fun.
It's a lot
movie.
of fun. We enjoyed it. It was fun.
It's just not. It just lacks the seriousness and heart that you might want. But then again, if you know this going in and you just want to enjoy the ride, you will enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's a fun ride.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
I believe, and I think you've mentioned this a couple episodes ago. I believe I'm approaching a crisis of content.
Go on.
You've heard people say a crisis of conscience. I'm having a crisis of content.
Okay.
There's just freaking too much out there.
There is.
Right now.
Yes, there is.
Because, all right, there was this.
Yeah.
You mentioned Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And with Stranger Things, you kind of got to try and get through it so nothing gets spoiled for you.
Yep, I'm treading lightly.
We're in fall and television series, so I got 4 DC shows that all started up at the same time that are great, that I love, but it's just
you're intimidated by all this, aren't you?
It's not that I'm intimidated by it. It's just stuff I love is starting to feel like a chore. Even to a point, going to this film was okay, got to do it for the show. I mean, I want to see it. And this was the film of this phase I was most excited about.
Okay.
And it just didn't, yes, we said it was fun, and ultimately I do like it, but it wasn't the movie I was hoping it was going to be. And I think I started to feel this a little bit with Doctor Strange, and I'm feeling it a little more now. The Marvel fatigue is starting to catch up to me. This was our 3rd Marvel movie this year.
Okay.
We had Guardians 2,
yep.
Spider-Man Homecoming,
yep.
and then this. Don't get me wrong, like them all.
Yeah.
But as we've said for different things on the show,
less is more.
I can't miss you if you don't go away.
Yeah. Well, next year, all you got to worry about is Black Panther and Infinity War, I think, right?
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh, well,
they're doing 3 a year now. That's their new...
Well, that's not going to last forever either. You know that.
I hope, after Infinity War, and I know this isn't going to happen, that they put it to bed for like 5 years.
No.
It won't happen because there's money to be made and they're in business to make money.
Too much on the table, man. Same reason you're going to get a Star Wars movie every year till you die.
But that's just one. And I'm okay with that because I passionately love that world.
Yeah.
And those characters. I'm not saying I don't passionately love these characters, but this world is much bigger. And the characters I've grown up with, like, are predominantly Spider-Man, like Thor, Cap, Iron Man, things like that. I read on and off their comics growing up. There was never like huge connection, not until the films. Now it's just too much. It's like
you can jump off the train anytime, man.
And with Star Wars, it's like, okay, you get one air quote saga film, and then you get one like offshoot film. So it's still even kind of divided up like that. But it's not just Marvel, it's just everything. There's just too much out there. And don't get me wrong, it's great that there's like so much good quality out there, but I can't remember the last film I went to that wasn't Marvel, Star Wars, or DC.
Yeah, there is that to contend with.
Go to a fun film, and like I can foresee a Marvel film coming out in the future that I don't make a point to see opening weekend, if at all, in theater.
I'll always be there. But I know where you're coming from. You know what it is? It's almost like we've had it so good for so long. We're starting to kind of we're taking it for granted a little bit.
It's like when you discover Chinese buffets when you're a kid. You're telling me all I got to do is pay this one price and I get all I can eat?
Yeah.
And then at the end, when you've gorged yourself at the trough of General Tso,
you feel sick.
You just feel nasty. You don't feel right. I'm kind of getting to the point where, I've had my third plate and the belt's kind of feeling a little tight.
I'm good for now. But I do feel I understand where you're coming from. I totally. And we'll see. Hopefully, there will be a logical conclusion to all this, and we'll, we can jump off for a little while. But
take a break.
Take a breather. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Just take a breather. Focus on. I'm fine with obviously with what this show is about. I'm fine with the Netflix stuff. I'm not feeling overwhelmed by that.
Okay.
And it's the films, a lot of like all the great content that's on television and streaming services right now is kind of where you're getting your most quality programming. It's feeling like a ton. It's feeling like a lot.
We'll get through. Don't worry. We'll get through together.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm
kicking
just
and screaming.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you very much for joining us for another great episode. By all means, let us know what you thought of Thor. Did you guys like it? Did you not like it? What did or did you not like about it? Do you think we're having too much content? Do you think it'd be a good idea if Disney bought 21st Century Fox? Send us some thoughts, some questions, and you can reach us at the following locations. You can find us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, any closing thoughts?
No, sir. I'm good. I will be away for a while, so y'all have fun without me. Episodes will still be going up that we banked, so Don't worry about that. Maybe not both weeks I'm gone, but one for sure.
Yeah, we might have an off week.
So, yeah, I will be having a good time, hopefully, and hopefully so will you.
Alrighty. See ya. Court's adjourned.